it. Okay, so July the 6th is today. And as usual, we always start with a prayer. Does anybody want to say something, or me? Do I have a volunteer? No? So I okay, so let's close our eyes, calm down our thoughts. Try to bring peace to our heart, to our soul, thinking about good memories, happy moments, thinking about the mentors of this group, the mentors, the spiritual guides of each one of us as they gather here with us right now. We also know that every initiative associated with this kind of studies, seeking improvement, learning higher moral and ethic values, we know that other beings, they are here with us today. So not only incarnated people, but also discarnated people, they gather to learn with us. So we know we never stop learning, and we know the light will be available for everyone seeking that light. So, dear Lord, be with us today, guide us in our studies, in our discussions. May we not only learn, but bring those teachings to our hearts. So tomorrow, we will bear the learnings, but also practice, live those loving teachings from the spirits. We ask you, Lord, as well, to protect, to keep safe, to console all the victims of this hurricane that is on the way to US, but has passed through Mexico coast to Caribbean already. We know those moments, they happen. It is nature. And we don't ask you to avoid anything, but we ask you, Lord, to hold our hands, to hold the hands of those impacted, and make sure that they are not alone. And whatever it is, if they are in the company of you, they have nothing to fear. So may the help be available for them. May they find the means to access help as much as possible according to their needs. Stay with us, Lord. today and always. And so be it. And okay, so stop the song. So folks, oh yeah, they're hyacinths. So we are studying the chapter 4 under the book number 1, the vital principle. And later on, we will see some questions associated with intelligence. And I was thinking last week about what is, in fact, intelligence, and when does intelligence happen in the midst of human evolution, right? In all beings' evolution. So let me do this. Yeah. So yeah, so I was thinking, when does intelligence show up, and what it is, in fact. So I was reading this article from NBC News because I was thinking about those questions. I was able to recall a picture that I saw a few years ago from an ape, a gorilla. And the picture in the article was about how that animal was becoming so famous because of his looking, but more than his looking, it was about his eyes, the way he was looking to people. So I put those pictures over here together. So, but and thinking about intelligence. So if you have a picture of human eyes, you can see, like the spirits say very often, that the eyes, they are the windows to somebody else's soul. They are the windows, they are the door. You can pretty much pick up the essence, all the complexity as you see it, look at human eyes. You can see the complexity, you can see the presence of thoughts, of a mind behind that. And if you compare to a chimpanzee, for example, that presence is not quite there yet. Yes, there is a vitality, but you don't see that same presence, you don't see that same complexity, you do not perceive that quite yet. So this article from NBC News, it says this. They were kind of talking about this research that is happening or happened in Germany. So the article says, for humans, the eyes are more than just windows to the outside world. They are also portals inward, providing others with glimpses into our inner thoughts and feelings. That's pretty much what we can see when we look at this, and we do not see when we look at this quite well. So the article continues, according to one idea called the cooperative eye hypothesis, the distinctive features that help highlight our eyes evolved partially to help us follow each other's gazes when communicating or when cooperating with one another on tasks requiring close contact. In a new study that is one of the first direct tests of this theory, researchers from the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Germany looked at what effect head and eye movements had on redirecting the gaze of great apes versus human infants. Results showed that the great apes, which included 11 chimpanzees, 4 gorillas, and 4 bonobos, were more likely to follow the experimenter's gaze when he moved only his head. In contrast, the 40 human infants looked up more often when the experimenter moved only his eyes. The findings suggest that great apes are influenced more by head than eyes when trying to follow another's gaze, while humans are more reliant on eyes under the same circumstances. The study, led by Michael Tomasello, will be detailed in an upcoming issue of the Journal of Human Evolution. And then the article continues, it's a very long one. But the thing is, so he's saying, you know, that humans, they need the eye contact for communication. They can grasp a lot of information just looking into the eyes, as opposed to those apes that they were investigating, they included in the experiment. However, when you look at this, it is different. Look at these eyes as opposed to those eyes. There is something different. And something that is happening, as usual. I keep saying, you know, the world is changing, and it's changing right in front of our eyes. So every time when people say, oh, we are in the middle of this transition to a regeneration world, is happening. It's already there. It's right there, because something is happening. And if we observe nature, if we observe closely the animals and how they are evolving, we can see that more often. So, Carol, you have your hand raised.
I was wondering, do apes have peripheral vision?
I don't know.
Which would make a difference in how they follow.
Yes, that's an interesting question. In this case, I'm assuming in the institute they kind of they probably do, but because they have, you know, if you have frontal eyes, it means that you more than likely you have peripheral vision. If you don't, the way that nature responds to that, then the eyes is not like frontal. They are kind of, you know, that's how nature responds to that.
Like at an angle.
Like an angle. But the other thing is, the apes, they have something more evolved than us, instinct. That they can smell. So several other things helping them to kind of be aware of the surrounding, right? So I don't smell people behind me. I cannot say there is somebody, you know, I don't, anyway. So yeah, so I was saying, so something is going on, because, you know, we see more often animals like this looking differently. That's something different if we compare these two eyes. And for example, my dog, looking in my own house, I am a dog person. I have had dogs my entire life since I was a little kid. I am 57 now. Maybe for 10 years in my life, when I was, you know, I cannot even remember. I didn't have a dog, but it was so scarce, those moments that, you know, I don't even remember. But, you know, I have had dogs my entire life. And however, even though all of them, they're very dear to my heart, I must say that only the last two, they were capable of doing what my dog is doing right now. Do you see the eye contact? And he stands that eye contact. All the other dogs that I had, yeah, they were looking, but they never, but this guy, he's different. As a matter of fact, the other the dog that I had that passed away 3 years ago, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. I had people telling me, mediums telling me that this dog is actually the reincarnation of the previous one. And it's funny, but the thing is, these two dogs, they have very similar behavior. My other dog, he used to look at me exactly the same way. And as a matter of fact, I used to tell my older dog, I said, I used to say and ask, okay, when you transition to the other life, when he was very old in his last year, he used to say, when you transition to the other life, will you remember me? And whenever you come back, will you remember me? And then I used to say, if you come back to me, I will know. We will know because we will recognize each other's eyes. That's how I used to say. And look at this guy. So something is changing because I have never, in 57 years, other than my past dog, my my border collie, those dogs, this dog, he's very different from the other ones. As a matter of fact, he doesn't only look into my eyes this way and he stands, but he also wants to look in the same direction. What are you looking? What are you saying? Let me see. In this case, I was talking to my son. What are you looking at? So, and you can see he's there. He's not only curious, he's there. There is a presence, right? I'm not and hey, this is not the most intelligent dog I have. Oh, we lost Hyacinth. I didn't, yeah. So this is not the most intelligent dog. He's no, he's just a regular dog. But something is different. You can tell. Now, look at this. Look at these eyes and look at these eyes. You can say, I can say there is a presence there. There is a feeling, this guy is kind of giving you the idea of this resignated sadness, maybe a little quiet, but a little sad. And look at this guy. So it's so different than what we see. Something is going on, and it's not unnoticed. A lot of scientists paying attention to that because those eyes, they're more human eyes like, right? So we can tell. So there is something, a spark of intelligence right there. And yeah, something must be changing. And then the article, look at this. You can tell this guy is not happy. He's kind of, there is a little bit of distrust. It's curious, but maybe what are you up to? And then I found this website called Science Direct, and I liked some of the contents and some of the articles they publish. Oh, by the way, guys, this is not a real picture. This is artificial intelligence generated picture. And I'm just putting in here just to remind us some of the occasions. I remember this small kid, he was in a zoo, and by accident he fell into the space where the gorillas were, and in zero time, this female gorilla, she ran to the boy and she protected the boy from the males. So it's just, I didn't find a picture of the, I just put it in there just to remind me of that story. But anyway, I was reading this article in the website called Science Direct, and so they were talking about similar studies that this Max Planck Institute was doing, and so I didn't bring any of the introductions on that studies. It is very similar, but I just brought the conclusions that they got from their studies. This white area right here, I did not know, I didn't know, but the name of the white is sclera. So I do not know if you guys knew, but this is new to me. So they call sclera the white portion of the eye. So in the conclusions on their studies, they said white sclera is often considered a uniquely human trait in the scholarly literature and popular media. Our study confirms that this is not the case. Almost 1 in 6 chimpanzees at Ngogo, it's a place in Africa, had full or partial white sclera in at least one eye, which tended to be more visible when gaze was averted rather than direct. Even a small amount of white or light sclera may make gaze direction more apparent and is thus relevant for hypotheses about gaze, signaling, and social cognition. Meaning, guys, this is evolution. So those animals, they're becoming smarter and smarter. And this is right there. So the thought or the idea, the question is,
Anna, excuse me.
Go ahead.
You're going on and on about something which is absolutely well known for at least a century. People have not been responding properly to it, but I've put 2 articles, one of them dated July 4th, 2024, which you clearly haven't come across. It says the Smart Animal Club keeps getting bigger. So you are talking about gorillas, which of course are very close to humans, 99.8% DNA. And as if they didn't have consciousness or this was a new thing. It's not new.
Well, that's good
The
that
Smart
you
Animal
knew.
Club keeps getting bigger. Look at this article. This is also talking about bees. They were experimenting with bees and discovered that bees could learn by watching other bees do the tricks that humans had taught them.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
so we're not looking at higher animals, we're looking at lower animals, insects with consciousness and memories, plants with memories. This whole subject is, you're being a bit silly about this because consciousness is life.
Thank you.
Energy.
What I'm saying,
Okay. You're getting around to saying.
Yeah, what I'm saying is now we have proof out of labs, I'm not saying they're not evolving. I'm not saying they didn't evolve. What I'm saying is right now, we have proof from labs and institutes that everybody knows about it, and very reputable institutions. So nobody can, say anything about those. But I agree, every single being in the whole world is evolving same way as we do. Now, whether that is related to intelligence or instinct, then is another discussion. So, and I bring in today because pretty soon there will be some questions about intelligence and when exactly intelligence shows up and how. And that's why I would like to bring this today. Okay. But thank you for your comment, Giles. There are some things that I am not aware of. So thank you for your suggestion on the articles. I will certainly read those. All right, so chapter 4, the vital principle. And yeah, I will not talk about this, but I just want you to call attention because maybe today we'll be covering those questions about this. The vital fluid, just remember about this guy right here. It is made of universal cosmic fluid, and the vital fluid, without it, there is no animated matter. Okay, so what Giles was talking about, plants, etc. This whether or not plants respond to hands-on healing paths, for example, or songs, or etc. It is all related to the vital fluid. That's the condition for a being to exist. So we have animated matter. May not be a spirit in there yet, but is for sure animated matter. And then this very simple explanation. Last time we stopped right here. Very simple explanation about organic and inorganic beings. So inorganic beings possesses neither vitality nor the power of spontaneous movement, and are merely the aggregation of matter such as mineral, water, air, and so on. So in everything else, there's organic beings with a spontaneous movement. So the first question then is, does the same force unite the elements of matter in inorganic and organic bodies? And this is very simple question, so I'll go ahead and just put the answer. Yes, the same law of attraction, right? So it makes sense that doesn't matter organic, inorganic, is all under the same natural law and will follow the same natural laws that we have, or that guide our creation. Is there any difference between the matter of organic and inorganic bodies? And based on the graph that we just saw, all those boxes associated with vital fluid and organic matter, anyway, it is the same. So question is very obvious, answer is very obvious too. The only difference is that the inorganic bodies, the organic bodies, it is animalized. So when we say animalized, meaning there is the presence of vital fluid in there. And yeah, so that vital fluid is crucial for animated matter. right? However, one thing, I do not know, maybe I put this in the wrong sequence, but one thing is that we can say about this is the until now, so for example, plant or you name it, a bee or a squirrel, they will be guided by their instinct, as opposed to the spirit or the human being, or you know, a being that how can I say, a being that holds a soul, if you will, is guided by intelligence. So what is the cause of the animalization of matter? Any comment or any clue on that? What is the cause?
You're getting into semantics here. What does animalization mean? Are humans animals? Well, that's semantics, isn't it? Some people say that humans are the highest animal, but they're still definitely animals. Look at the way they treat each other, let alone the rest of the planet. It's amazing that that we call each other human instead of, and pretend to be different from animals when our behavior is worse in many ways sometimes than certain animals. It's a question of semantics. What is the cause of the animalization of matter? Semantics. Spirit sits and guides and creates and forms all matter. When does matter become animal? Since spirit is in everything. Without spirit, there is no matter. Sorry, it's silly, this semantic conversation.
Thank you, Gloria.
What came up for me was the spark of life. In other words, the spark of the creator. Because all these components come together thanks to the cosmic fluid, but then there's got to be just the right environment and mixture for life to be activated. So that's so I'm looking at that and I'm going, to me, that is, what is the cause of the activation of matter into life is how I guess I would put that. And that would be a spark of creation. It would be, yeah, a spark of the creator. The spark of creation is what came up for me.
Yeah, and that's when I think what Giles is talking about, the spirits, when they want to unite that spark of light to matter, right? Because it doesn't happen by coincidence, or there must be a cause, right? Yeah. And so the answer is the vital fluid. But how? That's what I think when I think that Giles is right when he says spirit. There must be a cause. There must be a higher being doing that union, right? Is the vital principle present in a specific agent, or is it a property of organized matter? Simply put, is it an effect or a cause? Think it's more a cause? It is both. Life is an effect produced by agent acting on matter. Somebody, a thought, a will, right? Without matter, this agent is not life. Just as matter cannot be alive without this agent. It gives life to every being that absorbs it. So, yeah.
Okay. But we're eternal energy beings. I mean, we exist without the body. So I'm looking at this like, okay.
Well, think about the life when they're talking about life, it's life here on earth, right? So thinking about how the matter becomes an organic being.
Okay, so this is
If it was-
specific to both of them together, not.
Yes, not like we know we are spirits, we have eternal life, etc., etc. Yeah, we know. But it's life here, like in nature.
Okay.
Yeah. So does the vital principle reside in anybody that we know? Like everywhere?
Is that a trick question? Or have you forgotten that the planet has got a spirit called Gaia? The sun has got a spirit which runs it called Ra. Every planetary body has got a spirit that runs it.
Yeah, we have a governor. And
Well, yeah, I don't know how much they interfere or not, but that's certainly not going to be mentioned by Kardec and his psychics of 1850.
Are you sure about that? I would not say that without reading all
Okay, well,
the
we haven't got to that yet, in
Yeah.
which case. And I have to remind you that Jürgen Siever, casting his mind back to a previous incarnation, found himself incarnated in a glacier.
In what?
And a glacier, a lump of ice.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah. Look at
And
this.
he said the main sensation he can remember was boredom, and I like that very much because I'm pretty sure that boredom is the reason for the universe.
Got it.
Okay, so universal fluid, magnetic, and electric fluid, those are all cosmic fluid? Just other names for it?
Yeah, I remember that in 1860, they have no other reference but the electricity. Electricity back then, it was not so well known as it is today, to the point that they used to call electricity fluid,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But evidently, we know it's not a fluid.
Words get in the way. I wish we could just.
Because you see, now you understand the difficulties that the higher beings have as they try to teach us, and there is lack of vocabulary. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard to tell things when those things, you don't even have a word to mention. How to describe a color you don't see yet. Right? Yeah, so the vital principle, as a matter of fact, that's how they're talking about, it is the source of everything. It is what connects you to the body. And I put those pictures over here because it is also the responsible one for to allow us to do this, those astral projections, astral trips, so we can go anywhere. We can project our soul, our mental body, our spiritual body, anywhere, but still connected to the body, and it is because of the vital principle. Now, how that connection happens, I haven't seen yet a book telling me how it is. Okay. Um, because
Anna,
just a second,
you're okay.
just a second. Because the thing is, if anybody knows how that vital principle is connected to every single energy center in every single cell, then we know how to bring people back to life. So far, we haven't done yet.
Can I remind you that that of all the miracles we are surrounded with, there are only 2 miracles
Yes.
which are worthy of mention. Number 1 is how the spirit stays attached to the material body.
It is.
That is that barely visible cord that attaches you to your body when you go off in dreams, traveling around the universe. And the other miracle is the memory wipe at birth. So we take it all seriously. Otherwise, we wouldn't take this incarnation seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this discussion is of what is consciousness has no answer, because in science it's called the hard problem, and it was that was named in 1999, 25 years ago or so, because there isn't even a theory anywhere among scientists or the afterlife for that matter. What is consciousness? Nobody has a clue. So that's worth remembering, that it's called the hard problem for a good reason, with a HARD in capitals.
Yes,
And I
indeed.
like it that the afterlife mediums don't pretend to say what they know, that they know what consciousness is,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a growing state. Obviously, consciousness has to be the eternal principle, the original principle.
Yeah. Yeah, agree.
And the pieces of it spread around the universe provide entertainment for the rest of us. Without thee and me, without self and other, there is no universe. Okay.
Thank you, Jazz. So, yeah, so we already talked about that. So, yeah, vital fluid is coming from universal cosmic fluid. As a matter of fact, is the source of all matter in everywhere in the universe. And as the vital fluid connects to the raw matter, then we have animal matter. But then at this point, we are talking about instinct as opposed to intelligence, when a spark of life, a spirit, you name it, joined or unite to that animated matter. I used to have in this graph like human being, and then I just changed with intelligent being, because, you know, this is not explaining just the human body, but every organic being. Is the vital principle the same for all organic beings? What do we think? Like, do I have the same vital principle like Carol or Vladimir? So the answer, evidently, right? Because we are immersed in the same environment. So where we are getting the source of everything that, you know, perform where we are. Yes, but adapted according to each species. This principle gives organic beings the power of initiating movement and activity. They are distinguished from inert matter by their ability to produce spontaneous movement. Inert matter can be moved, but it does not initiate a movement. Go ahead, Gloria.
Recently, I heard a woman attorney reporting on her near-death experience, and she talked about how she interacted with two beings who had never been incarnated. Their species has never been
Mm-hmm.
incarnated.
Yeah.
And so the interviewer, it was Tammy Simon, asked her to describe them, and she said, there are no words. There were no, and Tammy said, well, could you say that they were columns of energy? Is that close? And she said, there are just no words, but yeah, you could use that as a description, but there are beings. And so I'm looking at this, the vital principle. So the vital principle, for example, for an energy being that has never incarnated, it would be the same but different. It would be adapted. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting it. All right. That works for me. Yeah. Yes.
If
Yeah.
I would say yes, it will be the same but adapted. If
Yes.
they need any perispiritual body, if you will. Because then we're talking about a little bit of, very subtle but still matter, right? But I agree. I have heard of those beings who didn't need to incarnate. It's not everybody. It's our case right here, but doesn't need to be like for everybody.
So this answer applies to them too. I'm reading it. Yes, but
Yes.
adapted according to their species. So that works. Okay.
Yeah.
So the vital
Yeah.
principle is the same, even if they're not organic beings.
Yeah, exactly.
Adapted. It's still the vital principle. It's just adapted for that species. It's still life.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
and again, I don't have a word for it, but it's animation, just organic and non-organic beings, but it's not the same as inert matter because they're not in.
All those concepts that they are pretty much to describe our reality right here, because we rely so much on matter to do whatever, to learn whatever we are learning right here. But when it comes to beings like this, then yeah, it's quite different for them, because in this case they don't need to have they don't even need to have like to live in a city, even astral city, for example, because those beings, they are guided by their thoughts, and their thoughts can be whatever, and by their thoughts they can be whatever, they can be here, wherever, they can be here, but also they can be in another galaxy or something like. So they don't need that, they don't have the same needs as we do to to perform the experiences that we need to experience. So it's very, it's something, it's different. But yes, vital principle will be adequate to them, according to their species, if you will. Is vitality? Oh, sorry, Vladimir.
Desculpa por falar em português, né? Mas a resposta
Okay,
dessa
so he's apologizing for speaking Portuguese. He wants to say something. Okay, go ahead.
a resposta dessa questão ela é muito interessante porque ela é fundamental assim para a compreensão do estudo do espiritismo, né? Se a gente pegar lá Allan Kardec trabalhando nas causas e os efeitos, a questão da das mesas girantes, da comunicação, ele fala exatamente isso, né? Do movimento inteligente que estava por detrás da matéria
Ah,
inerte ali, né?
mhm.
Então,
Yeah.
isso é uma constatação. É fundamental essa questão.
Vladimir is recalling something interesting. When Allan Kardec was investigating all this, the spiritual dimension, one of the things that he and was happening everywhere in the whole world back in the days was those events when people were gathering together, and the spirits, they were turning tables, knocking on the tables, etc., etc. So that was because the spirits, using their thoughts, they were manipulating that vital principle, and then now those inert objects like a table, a chair, now they were moving, but they could not move by themselves. If it was not a cause behind them, right? If there was no cause behind it. So is vitality a permanent attribute of the vital agent, or is it only developed by the functioning of the organs? Like, do I have vitality because I have, all my organs right here, the whole body, the liver, whatever, or do I have vitality as a whole, as a being, because my spirit attracts this type of vital fluid? So the answer is, it is only developed with a body. That's why I said, Gloria, on those beings that never incarnated, if they have a peri-spiritual body, if they have like a shape like, something like this, then they probably will have some vital fluid to kind of help them with that spiritual body. It is only developed with a body. Have we not established this agent does not constitute life without matter? The union of the two is necessary for life to exist. But remember, life as we know here on earth, in nature. Okay?
Ana,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It occurs to me that we don't have the ability to comprehend what the bodies were of those entities that she saw, that they may have a body unique to their species that we can't comprehend because of our limited senses.
Exactly. That's what I was about. That's what I meant about the perispiritual body. That's the only way I can describe, because I do not know other means. We do have a perispiritual body, right? But they might have something else too that we don't even understand. We do not know. I remember one day I had this I don't know how to describe, but I was with this a psychiatrist, not psychiatrist. She was like an analyst, psychoanalyst, and she was helping me with basically I did look. I wanted to talk to her because back in those days my workload was really overwhelming, and then anxieties issues. I was not sleeping well, blah, 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 and I was getting tired and tired and tired. So then I decided to talk to her to understand how to deal with that anxiety. So we were talking and talking and talking, and after months, she said, Anna, I got stuck. I cannot go on. There is something preventing me to go on, and you are not making progress. So she suggested for me to do oh gosh, how do I know? To investigate and see past lives. I
Like a
forgot the word.
regression, like a
But
past life
yes,
regression?
exactly. So she was not indicating this for, but she, in her mind, there was a trauma or something preventing me to, to progress. So she did that, and my very first one, I was in this place that I could not describe. It was in between dimensions. It was not an aircraft, but I was in this place. And at the beginning, I could not see anything. I could see the planet from where I was, and I could see the planet. And I thought I was alone, but then when I was asking questions, okay, am I alone here? So, and I looked back, I saw beings. But again, it's hard to explain and it was weird because I was not speaking the questions that were in my mind, and I could see the beings because I could see something glowing around them. You see something like, as you could see just my auric field. That's what I was able to see, and that, because I have no better way to describe, I will call auric field, but it was not. So because I could see how the colors were changing, and sometimes it has more than one color, much more than, I was able to understand what they were telling me, if that is possible. They were answering my questions, and it was so weird that it took me 2 years to go back to that lady. Because I had to, how to digest it. I was not even looking for it. All that I wanted to do is to take care of the anxiety. And then I turned with a huge, it did work. I'll tell you what, it did work. Because my focus was, I was completely out of the place I was before. Because I had to understand that situation that happened to me. Vladimir, you wanted to say something?
Sim. Também destacar a importância dessa pergunta e dessa resposta pelo seguinte, ela trabalha aí essas duas dimensões evolutivas, a dimensão da evolução do espírito e a dimensão da evolução da matéria. Ou seja, o nosso espírito, na qualidade co-criador, ele também auxilia no desenvolvimento da matéria e também daquele princípio inteligente que ainda está em uma condição inferior à nossa. Por exemplo, o princípio inteligente está nas nossas células.
Mm-hmm.
Então, o nosso
That's,
espírito,
yeah,
né?
that's
E,
a,
e a matéria
okay.
ela vai se depurando também. Então, assim, a gente tem tanto a evolução do espírito quanto a evolução da própria matéria. A gente atua sobre isso, né?
Vladimir is calling attention to a very important point, because as we do evolve in our spirit is capable of changing our body, right? So like we know, our brain is changing, etc. As we do evolve our spirit, then our own spirit also will be responsible for the evolution of the body and the evolution of the principle or smart principle in every single cell that it is in our body. Does it make sense? So in such a way that we behave like a co-creator. Does it make sense? Yeah. But Carol.
So was that a life between lives that you experienced there, do you think? And sometimes they'll say,
Probably.
you know, in Bardo, referring to
Probably, yeah. Because back then they were answering me questions about where I came from, what I was doing here, the people that I should meet. Some of them I didn't recognize because they showed me like in a panel. And some of them I was able to recognize because I had past lives with them. And I could see, they showed me some of the past lives, and that I could see, okay, so that woman over there was my mother, and yeah. So it's weird. It was, I'm telling you, it took me 2 years to go back to, and poor lady, it was not about
But she
knows?
regressed you.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So there are things that, guys, I thought I was migrating. I thought I was migrating from one country to another, from one continent to another. Oh, so silly I am. Yeah, anyway. So is it correct to say that vitality is dormant when the vital agent is not united with a body? No or not? Because I have to say that this question did intrigue me. Yes. Because think about, for example, when in a fetus, for example, a woman that is expecting a child, but that child, the spirit of that child is not entirely connected to the body yet. Or let's say the opposite. The person is in the moments of transition, but it's halfway here and there. That's why people have near-death experience, because it is half here, half time here, they are in between, but something is still connected because their body is still alive and they are capable of coming back. So in that time that they experience the near death, yes, they are there, really. They really, right? They cross the road, but not entirely. There is still vitality in that body, and there is still some sort of connection because they're still able to come back. So yes, go ahead.
I'm having trouble with the word vitality. Is that life force? That life force is dormant when the
Life force, yes. So if you think about when a woman is pregnant, the body is already there. The fetus is already there. There is life, right? There is, you can see the vital signs, etc., etc. However, the soul or the spirit of that being is not yet connected. Sometimes it's near the mother, sometimes it's somewhere else. It's not connected because the final connection will happen exactly near the birth moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the last word you added, which was normally. Things don't always happen
Yeah.
as normal,
No,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
sorry, I was just writing an explanation about this, and I don't have to because you've provided the answer with that word, one word, normally.
Yep.
There are a wide range of things happening, such as
Absolutely,
an
yeah.
infant being born dead, and the spirit leaving the infant at birth, and a passing spirit had the opportunity to get into that infant. In the case that I'd read about, it did not do so, but it could have, because it wanted to prove the doctors wrong. The doctors were all saying, your infant is dead. And this person wanted to get in there into that newborn infant to prove them wrong. But since they were having an accident from stones falling off a wall on their head, they went back there and went back into their own body. And that's how that one ended, which is, so it's normally is the right word. There's a lot of range there possible.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The variety of possibilities is huge. Gloria, please.
Okay, now I'm just an example here. So at night when we're dreaming and we're astral traveling, our biologian is off somewhere. That means that the vitality in our body is dormant while we're sleeping. I'm a question.
Ye-
Rapidinho. Parece que está havendo uma confusão entre vitalidade e vida. Vitalidade é uma coisa,
É.
vida é outra.
É, é.
É
So,
isso que eu falei para ela.
é isso que eu vou dizer para ela. So one thing is, and Vladimir is saying this now, life is something, vitality is something else.
That's my question. What?
So do not confuse. Yeah, do not. So this body is very much alive. There is life. The vitality is there because you can see the connection is by the way, they in all the drawings that we see, they will represent one chord, but we know is like every single energy center in our body will have a cord, we'll have a connection, a wire, if you will. So this body is alive and the life is there, and is the vitality is there too. It's not, I mean, we are sleeping, our body is relaxed, but the spirit is still connected, and as long as we have that that bond very stick to each other, there is vitality.
Okay.
It means the vitality is there. Otherwise, this bond will not be there.
Você vê durante o sono, seu corpo ele não está na vida de relação, mas ele está mantendo uma vitalidade em estado latente, não é?
Yeah.
Ou seja, continua animalizado o corpo, é a questão 62, né? A matéria continua animalizada, né? O princípio.
Okay, so I was hoping that Luis was able to make for today, because I'm pretty sure, based on his experiences and some of the meetings that he had, I'm pretty sure he had a lot of examples to tell us. I'll ask him to make some effort to come over next time, because there are lots of things that, you know, folks working on the spirit centers and working with the mediumistic meetings, etc., they're able to say. There are so many other things that I will not mention because it will only confuse you. But yeah, no, I will not even mention. But for now, as long as the spirit is connected to a body, vitality is there. And the body is alive. Let's see. It's gonna be my last question because it's one I love. What causes the death of organic beings? This is very obvious question. Exhaustion of their organs. Okay, so that's no-brainer. But what happens to the matter and vital principle of organic beings after their death? So if we are alive, there is vital principle. When we die, it's because the organs are exhausted. Exhausted of what? There is no more vital principle, right? So inert matter decomposes and is used to form other bodies, right? So that is a done deal. The vital principle returns to the general mass. So because this exhaustion is exactly exhaustion of what? Vital principle. And this is the thing. Think about the vital principle as a battery. We all come to 1, 2, or 3. You name. You put the number you want, but we do not have the same vitality. Some people they live longer. Some people they live less. But as long as we treat our body well and we conduct ourselves, you know, responsibly, etc., etc., if you die out of a natural cause, it is because the vital principle is gone, right? So that battery ran out. It's completely drained out. And that is according to the incarnation or reincarnation plan you have. So sometimes you see people like, for example, my ex-mother-in-law, she was 99 years old when she died. Her mind was completely elsewhere because of Alzheimer, but it was unbelievable the amount of vitality in that body. She could go climb stairs up and down, and you know, it was as a matter of fact, it was really tough on people taking care of her because she was healthy, she was strong, and so she had certainly an amount of vitality that, for example, my mother, 87 now, she doesn't. It's very evident she cannot climb stairs up and down like my ex-mother-in-law was capable of. So it is not based on, it is not the same for everybody. We have different batteries, if you will, energy batteries. Giles, please.
You remind me of that extraordinary piece of information that we have received occasionally, that When incarnating, not all of our spirit comes to be present in a given incarnation. This is an extraordinary piece of information.
Say that again. Sorry, there was
When
a
we
glimpse in my internet.
incarnate, not all of our spirit comes to the incarnation. I have read this and heard about it in a number of different ways, one of which has been Wendy Zamet's global meetings. And this is a very confusing statement or understanding, because part of your spirit can be in another incarnation, and this gets very confusing.
Like
And
parallel
so
lives?
no, not like parallel lives, just different. And the fact that in each incarnation, a different quantity of your spirit is going to, a different percentage of your spirit will come to be present. If, just for sake of argument, let's say 90% of your spirit comes into an incarnation, that's going to be a big one, because you've got a lot of spirit behind you driving you. And if 20% of your spirit comes in, then you're going to be very meek and mild and spend a lot of time napping. I don't know. It's just a very confusing issue. And that's why I bring it up, because it certainly wasn't brought up in Kardec's time, but it's now an available piece of knowledge. Sorry, Gloria.
Yeah, in Kardec's time, just a sec. In Kardec's time, what they said was, if the spirit has the knowledge, the skills, then sometimes, sometimes in order for you to do whatever, learn whatever in that incarnation, sometimes they just, it's not that they knock down, how do I say, I'm running out of words, but it's like they just, I cannot even remember the word in Portuguese, but it's like a light. If you have the intelligence to be a great mathematician or a great artist, and then you have a great talent for whatever, what they do, if that will not help you in that incarnation, then they will just kind of shut the door, the access to that talent. That's how Kardec was describing it, and I guess it's the same principle. So you do not need to be a great mathematician if the learnings that I will have in this incarnation is someone that will, be a cook, for example, or I don't know, a fisherman. So, for example, that's how they do. Now, for other beings that lived, several lives and learned a lot of things and developed a lot of skills, and then they incarnate here as a missionary, for example, sometimes they have access to their skills, and sometimes some of their skills, they are kind of, there is no access if those skills will not make good or have any impact on that's how they describe. So I agree with what Giles was saying. It's just a different way to say the same thing. Sometimes you come with all your potentialities if you had all the lives to evolve those potentialities, and sometimes you don't. Like, for example, Chico Xavier, he had so many skills as a medium, but his mission was he could do materialization, he could project his mental body and be in more than one place at the same time. he could know so many things, but his mission was about to write those books. So that's why he wrote like 400 plus books, because it was his mission. And some of those skills as a medium, he asked to cut because this is too much. I need to focus.
O estado de perturbação, ele sempre vai existir. O que vai depender vai ser o tamanho, se vai ser curto ou se vai ser longo.
Você vai ser, yeah. So yeah,
Quanto mais evoluído o espírito, mais curtinho é, porque tem uma diferença da vida física para a vida espiritual. Então, sempre vai ter uma perturbação, ainda que pequenininha. Eu acho que isso responde a pergunta do Giles.
And Vladimir is mentioning something else that's as interesting as well. So once that spirit, so let's say, for example, the spirit that has, lots of skills, and but in this incarnation is like has access to only 20% of those skills. Once the spirit is back, as the spirit is returning, is not immediate the access to his or her skills, again, because there is always a period of transition. That's how they say. There is always, for that being to accommodate and kind of find himself or herself in the new reality. So yes, the spirit will reestablish the 90% of, whatever skills he or she had. I should not even mention it, but the soul had, but not immediately. There is a period of accommodation or transition. Gloria, sorry.
Before we go, I just wanted to comment on something that Vlad said earlier, and it's something I've been doing, where we are the co-creators, and for several years now, I've been monitoring my thoughts and what I say, because I know my cells are listening to me.
Yes.
So I'm expressing all this gratitude for my strong, healthy body, and how much I appreciate, the gift of this, to be able to have this incarnation in, and how well it has served me. And I swear I've gotten stronger by doing that, because my cells are responding to the positive love that I'm giving to my body. And it's made a big, I think I'm experiencing a difference in my health because of that. So I'm very grateful. It works.
It is a great thing. It's so simple, and at the same time, so wise thing
It's
to
an
do.
example of, is it Moto with the water experiments, professor who
Emoto.
Emoto, yes. Well, we've got a lot of water, and it's an example of that in our own bodies. So I'm very careful what I think and what I say about my body, because so often, you'll say, "How are you doing?" Oh, people will say, "Oh, my back is killing me." I never say stuff like that anymore. Never, never, never. Yeah, I say, "Oh, I'm great."
Yeah, and the thing is, remember, we have this body, but this body will not exist without the participation of billions of microorganisms living in your body. And one day, these guys, they will evolve too. So the other day I was watching some videos. So there is this guy posting. I do not say anything, but there is this guy posting. So, like, for example, you pick this glass of water, and then what he does, he put this glass of water in a microscope. So you see all the tiny little bitty things, walking, and just to say it. So his point is, you have to wash, you have to do, because there is always food, processed food in the grocery store, etc., or a fruit, whatever. So he peels, and then he's showing all the little And then I said, to me, this is pointless because look at us, and we are like 98% of our beings is made of those microorganisms. Oh, by the way, we will not be alive without them. We have issues, we have health issues if we do not have some of them in our body. So as we do think like gratitude for being alive, you also help them, and they respond to you,
Mhm.
right? And they will respond to you, helping you even more. So yeah, I agree in the positive thoughts. It's simple but very wise thing to do. Yeah. Well, guys, 4:30 in Houston, it's still raining like, cats and dogs, like they say over here. When I learned this, it was so fun. I laughed hard, Say, what?